Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Jason Fung. Have you been experiencing a sense of unusual fatigue lately? Waking with a foggy mind, puffy ankles, or needing to use the bathroom multiple times through the night, all while convincing yourself it's merely stress or the inevitable effects of aging? Because what I'm about to share might give you serious pause. Those aren't haphazard, meaningless symptoms. They are frequently the earliest alerts that your kidneys are faltering quietly, silently, long before any physical pain ever emerges. Here's the unsettling truth. Your kidneys filter close to 60 gallons of blood each and every day, removing toxins from everything you consume, drink, and even the air you breathe. But when they begin to fall behind, they don't cry out in distress, they murmur, and most individuals fail to hear those murmurs until a blood test returns with elevated creatinine levels. Suddenly, the word dialysis enters the dialogue. I've witnessed this precise moment alter lives. At this very moment, over 37 million Americans are living with some degree of kidney impairment. And a significant number of them are completely unaware. They feel off, not genuinely sick. They feel wary, not broken. And by the time the damage becomes apparent, invaluable time has already slipped away. But here is where hope emerges. And this part is crucial. What if I told you that safeguarding your kidneys doesn't always begin with pricey treatments or extreme measures? What if some of the most potent instruments are already in your kitchen, used daily, but almost universally used incorrectly? In this presentation, I'm going to reveal 6 common kitchen spices that scientific research has connected to decreased inflammation, lower oxidative stress, and enhanced kidney support. Plus, the one overlooked daily factor that determines whether these spices actually aid your kidneys or accomplish absolutely nothing. Stay with me because near the conclusion, I'll explain the single mistake I observe people making that silently negates all their efforts without them ever realizing it. If your energy matters, cool. If your independence matters, and if you wish to protect your kidneys before it is too late, you will want to hear this entire message. Most people believe kidney problems originate in the kidneys themselves, but in reality, they often begin within the blood vessels. Your kidneys don't filter toxins by magic, and they filter blood. And if blood cannot flow smoothly, gently, and consistently, those minuscule filters inside your kidneys called nephrons are battered with pressure day after day. Imagine attempting to clean water through a delicate paper filter while blasting it with a fire hose. That's what poor circulation does to your renal system. I once consulted with a patient who ate cleanly, avoided salt, and drank water regularly, yet still felt exhausted, mentally foggy, and swollen by evening. His lab results weren't catastrophic yet, but something was clearly amiss. The missing component wasn't another supplement. It was blood flow. His kidneys were functioning, but under relentless strain. This is where garlic subtly changes everything. Garlic isn't powerful because it purifies anything overnight. It's powerful because it assists your blood vessels in relaxing. Inside garlic are sulfur-containing compounds, especially allicin, that stimulate nitric oxide production in the lining of your blood vessels. Nitric oxide signals those vessels to dilate, permitting blood to flow more smoothly instead of crashing violently into delicate kidney tissue. Why does this matter? Because smoother blood flow translates to less pressure, superior oxygen delivery, and more efficient waste removal. Studies have consistently demonstrated that garlic supports vascular function, reduces oxidative stress, and helps maintain healthier blood pressure, all of which are directly linked to kidney filtration efficiency. And here's the part most people never hear. If you chop garlic and toss it directly into a hot pan, you destroy the very compound that makes it effective. Allicin doesn't exist until garlic is crushed, and it requires several minutes of exposure to air to fully activate. No waiting period, no benefit. That's why so many individuals swear they use garlic daily but witness no real change. Used correctly, garlic becomes more than a flavoring. It becomes a circulation ally. Crushing 1 or 2 cloves, allowing them to rest for 5 to 10 minutes, then consuming them raw with water mixed with a little honey or lightly cooked can make a measurable difference over time. Pairing garlic with healthy fats like olive oil improves absorption, and following it with water helps ensure that improved circulation actually reaches the kidneys. Now, pause for a moment. Have you been using garlic in this manner? Or have you unknowingly been canceling out its benefits? If this surprised you, please leave a comment. I read every single one. But here's the truth most people miss. Even perfect circulation isn't sufficient if your blood is still transporting too many toxins. You can widen the pipes all you want, but if what's flowing through them is overloaded, your kidneys will still struggle. And that leads us to the next spice, one that doesn't just help blood move better, but helps reduce what the blood is carrying in the first place. Because understanding garlic alone isn't enough. And what comes next is where most people are truly caught off guard. Garlic helps blood flow more smoothly, reducing the pressure that quietly damages kidney filters. But here's the part most people don't realize. Better circulation alone doesn't save your kidneys if your blood is still overloaded with toxins. Think about it this way. Imagine upgrading the pipes in a water system, but the water itself remains dirty. No matter how wide the pipes are, the filters will still clog. That's precisely what occurs inside your kidneys when metabolic waste, environmental toxins, and inflammatory byproducts keep circulating day after day. I've observed people doing everything correctly. They drink more water, they cut back on salt, they even improve their blood pressure. Yet, they still feel heavy, bloated, mentally foggy, and exhausted by mid-afternoon. Their labs might appear borderline, not alarming, but inside, the kidneys are under constant stress because the toxic load never decreases. This is where cumin becomes unexpectedly powerful. Cumin doesn't function like garlic. It doesn't focus on blood flow. Instead, it helps reduce what the blood is carrying. Its active compounds, especially cuminaldehyde and thymol, have been shown to reduce oxidative stress and support the body's detoxification systems, particularly the liver. And that connection matters more than most people think. Your kidneys don't fail in isolation. When the liver struggles to neutralize toxins efficiently, those wastes remain in circulation longer. That means the kidneys must filter more, work harder, and absorb more damage over time. Scientific studies indexed in biomedical research databases show that cumin supports liver detoxification, lowers oxidative damage, and helps stabilize waste markers such as urea and creatinine. Less toxic blood upstream means far less strain downstream, right where your kidneys are most vulnerable. But here's the mistake almost everyone makes. They use cumin passively. Pre-ground cumin that's been sitting in a cabinet for months has lost much of its active compounds. Sprinkling a pinch on food without activating it accomplishes very little, and taking large doses all at once can irritate digestion, creating more internal stress instead of relief. Used correctly, cumin works slowly but deeply. Lightly crushing whole cumin seeds or steeping them in warm water releases their beneficial compounds. Drinking cumin tea in the morning or early afternoon supports digestion, helps the liver process toxins more efficiently, and gradually reduces the toxic burden your kidneys face every single day. Pairing cumin with a small amount of healthy fat improves absorption, and adding lemon enhances its antioxidant effect. Now, let me ask you something directly. Have you ever felt tired and heavy even when you're eating clean? That's often not about calories or salt. It's about toxic overload. If this sounds familiar, leave a comment below. I read everyone and you're not imagining it. But here's the critical truth. Even when blood flow improves and toxins decrease, there's still a silent force damaging kidney tissue every single day, often without pain, without swelling, and without showing up clearly on early lab tests. Because understanding circulation and detox still isn't enough, and the next factor is even more dangerous than most people realize. Lowering toxins in the blood is a powerful step, but here's the problem most people never see coming. Even clean blood can still destroy the kidneys if inflammation is quietly burning underneath. Chronic inflammation is one of the most dangerous enemies of kidney health because it doesn't announce itself. It doesn't always cause sharp pain. Instead, it shows up as subtle signals, persistent fatigue, mild swelling brain fog, or that heavy feeling that never quite goes away. Many people live with this for years, assuming it's just aging or stress, while inflammation slowly damages kidney tissue from the inside. I remember speaking with someone who did everything right. They improved their diet, drank more water, and even reduced toxin exposure, but their energy never fully returned. Labs stayed borderline, not bad enough to panic, but never truly good. What they didn't realize was that inflammation was still active, quietly interfering with how their kidneys filtered blood. This is where cinnamon plays a much bigger role than people expect. Cinnamon isn't just a sweet spice you sprinkle on oatmeal. It contains powerful compounds, especially cinnamaldehyde and polyphenols, that act as natural anti-inflammatory and antioxidant agents. These compounds help neutralize free radicals and reduce inflammatory signaling inside tissues, including the kidneys. Why does that matter so much? Because inflammation stiffens blood vessels, disrupts filtration, and damages the delicate structures inside each nephron. Scientific research has shown that reducing oxidative stress and inflammatory load can help preserve kidney tissue and improve overall filtration efficiency. In other words, calming inflammation doesn't just make you feel better, it directly protects kidney function over time. But here's the mistake nearly everyone makes. They use cinnamon that's essentially dead. Pre-ground cinnamon that's been sitting on a shelf for months has lost much of its active compounds. Some people also overuse it, irritating digestion and triggering the very inflammation they're trying to reduce. Others add it to cold foods or sugary recipes that cancel out its benefits entirely. Used correctly, cinnamon becomes a daily reset for inflammation. Freshly ground cinnamon sticks or properly steeped cinnamon tea releases its active compounds more effectively. Taken in the morning or early afternoon, cinnamon can help reduce inflammatory stress throughout the day. Pairing it with warm liquids improves absorption, and combining it with whole foods, not sugar, allows its benefits to actually reach the kidneys. Let me ask you something honestly. Have you ever felt tired even after improving your diet and hydration? That lingering fatigue is often inflammation, not weakness, not age. If that resonates with you, leave a comment below. You're not alone, and this matters more than most people realize. But here's the critical part. Reducing inflammation is essential, but inflammation isn't the only thing attacking kidney tissue every day. Even when inflammation calms down, your kidneys are still exposed to constant oxidative stress from food, environment, and daily metabolism, because knowing how to reduce toxins and calm inflammation still isn't enough. And the next factor acts like a daily shield or a daily threat depending on whether you understand it or not. Calming inflammation is critical. But here's the reality most people underestimate. Even when inflammation drops, your kidneys are still under attack every single day. Every meal you eat, every breath you take, every pill you swallow creates byproducts your kidneys must process. And over time, that constant exposure creates microscopic damage, tiny hits that add up. This is why so many people feel better, yet their kidney numbers never truly improve. The damage is subtle, cumulative, and relentless. I once heard someone describe it perfectly. They said, I feel like my body is always tired of cleaning up after itself. And that's exactly what's happening. The kidneys don't just filter, they absorb stress. Without protection, even low-level daily insults can slowly wear them down. This is where ginger quietly steps in. Ginger doesn't just calm inflammation like cinnamon. It acts more like a protective shield. Its bioactive compounds, gingerol and shogal, have been shown to reduce oxidative stress and limit inflammatory damage at the cellular level. Instead of reacting after damage occurs, ginger helps reduce how much damage happens in the first place. Why is that so important? Because oxidative stress damages the membranes and structures inside each nephron. Once those structures weaken, filtration efficiency drops, waste lingers longer in the blood, and the kidneys must work harder to compensate. Scientific studies have shown that ginger's antioxidant activity can reduce markers of oxidative damage and support healthier kidney tissue, especially under chronic stress conditions. But here's where most people get it wrong. They treat ginger like a flavor, not a functional tool. Using old dried ginger powder that's been sitting on a shelf for months drastically reduces potency. Others overuse it, irritating the stomach and triggering stress responses that counteract its benefits. And some people take it at the wrong time when absorption is poor and effects are minimal. Used correctly, ginger becomes a daily layer of defense. Fresh ginger, grated, sliced, or gently steeped in warm water, releases its active compounds far more effectively. Taken in the morning or early afternoon, ginger helps the body manage oxidative stress throughout the day. Pairing it with a small amount of healthy fat improves absorption, and adding it to warm foods or teas ensures its protective effects actually reach kidney tissue. Let me pause and ask you something. Do you ever feel like you're doing all the right things, but your body still feels worn down? That's often not failure, it's lack of protection. If this sounds familiar, leave a comment below. I read everyone, and this matters. But here's the turning point. Protection alone still isn't enough if the very filters inside your kidneys, the nephrons, are already overwhelmed. You can improve flow, reduce toxins, calm inflammation, and add protection, yet still miss the most fragile part of the system. Because knowing how to shield the kidneys isn't enough. And the next factor determines whether those tiny filters survive or slowly give out over time. By this point, you might be thinking, okay, I've improved blood flow, reduced toxins, calmed inflammation, and added protection. My kidneys should be safe now. But this is where most people are dangerously mistaken, because everything we've talked about so far still doesn't address the most fragile part of the kidney. Inside each kidney are about 1 million tiny filters called nephrons. These microscopic units do all the real work filtering waste, balancing fluids, and keeping your blood clean. And here's the scary truth: once nephrons are damaged, they don't regenerate easily. Many people lose them slowly, silently, without any pain at all. I've met people whose lab numbers looked acceptable, yet their energy kept dropping year after year. No sharp symptoms, no clear warning signs, just a gradual decline. What was happening wasn't obvious kidney failure. It was nephron burnout, one filter at a time. This is where coriander seeds become surprisingly powerful. Coriander seeds don't get much attention, but they work at a deeper level. They contain bioactive compounds like linalool and borneol, which have been shown to reduce oxidative stress and inflammation specifically in kidney tissue. More importantly, they help lower the concentration of toxic byproducts circulating in the blood, giving each nephron less work to do. Why does that matter so much? Because nephrons fail not from one big hit, but from constant overload. Every extra toxin, every inflammatory signal, every oxidative molecule forces these tiny filters to work harder. Scientific studies have shown that coriander seed extracts can help protect kidney tissue, reduce harmful waste buildup, and support healthier filtration dynamics over time. Less pressure, less damage, better long-term resilience. But here's the problem. Most people use coriander seeds in a way that does almost nothing. Sprinkling a few whole seeds on food without crushing them barely releases their active compounds. Using old pre-ground coriander that's been sitting for months drastically reduces potency. And some people overuse it, irritating digestion and creating the very stress they're trying to avoid. Used correctly, coriander seeds work gently but consistently. Lightly crushing the seeds or steeping them in warm water allows the beneficial compounds to activate. Drinking coriander seed tea in the morning or early afternoon supports natural detox pathways and reduces the workload placed on each nephron throughout the day. Pairing it with warm liquids improves absorption, and using small, regular amounts works far better than large occasional doses. Let me ask you something important. Have you ever been told your kidney numbers are not that bad, yet you still feel like your body is slowly losing strength? That disconnect often points to nephron stress, and not something doctors always catch early. If this resonates, leave a comment below. You're not imagining it. But here's the final piece of the puzzle. Even if you protect nephrons, reduce their workload, and support filtration, there is one spice that determines how well all of this actually works. And most people either misuse it or absorb almost none of it, because knowing how to protect the filter still isn't enough. And what comes next may be the single most powerful yet misunderstood tool for kidney protection. By now you've seen how kidney damage doesn't come from one mistake. It comes from layers of stress stacking up over time. And this is where everything either comes together or quietly falls apart. Because even if you improve circulation, lower toxins, calm inflammation, protect kidney tissue, and support nephrons, there's still one force that can undo all of it if left unchecked. That force is chronic, unresolved inflammation deep inside kidney tissue. This is where turmeric steps in and why it's often misunderstood. Turmeric isn't powerful because it's trendy. It's powerful because of one compound, curcumin. Curcumin has been studied extensively for its ability to reduce inflammatory signaling and oxidative stress at a cellular level. In the kidneys, that matters more than most people realize. I've spoken with people who took turmeric every single day and saw absolutely no improvement. They assumed turmeric didn't work. But the truth was simpler and far more frustrating. Their bodies weren't absorbing it. Curcumin is notoriously hard to absorb. In fact, research has shown that without proper preparation, the body may absorb less than 5% of it. That means many people are swallowing turmeric daily and getting almost nothing in return. Why does absorption matter so much? Because inflammation damages kidney tissue slowly and persistently. It interferes with filtration, stiffens blood vessels, and accelerates nephron loss. Studies have shown that curcumin can reduce inflammatory markers, lower oxidative stress, and support healthier kidney function, but only when it actually reaches the tissue. And this is where most people make critical mistakes. They use old pre-ground turmeric that's lost potency. They take large amounts without fat, which curcumin needs for absorption. They use it inconsistently, expecting instant results instead of cumulative protection. Used correctly, turmeric becomes a stabilizer. Fresh turmeric or high-quality powder taken with a small amount of healthy fat allows curcumin to enter circulation more effectively. Warm preparations like turmeric tea or soups improve bioavailability, and when used consistently, turmeric doesn't fix kidneys overnight. It slows damage, calms internal inflammation, and preserves function over time. This is especially important if you've ever been told your kidney numbers are stable, yet you still feel tired, foggy, or inflamed. Stability doesn't always mean safety. Sometimes it just means damage is happening slowly. Let me ask you something honestly. Have you ever taken a supplement faithfully and wondered why nothing changed? That frustration often comes down to absorption, not effort. If this resonates, leave a comment below. I read everyone, but here's the most important truth. Turmeric doesn't work alone, and even when it's used correctly, there's one daily habit that can either amplify everything we've discussed or quietly cancel it all out. Because knowing the right spices isn't enough. What you do every single day determines whether your kidneys recover or continue to decline. And that's what you need to hear next. If you've made it this far, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not weak and you are not too late. Your kidneys are incredibly resilient organs, and with the right daily choices, they can be protected, supported, and given a real chance to recover. You don't need to change everything overnight. Start small. Use what you've learned today, apply it consistently, and listen to your body. Even simple habits done the right way can make a meaningful difference over time. Thank you for watching